Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Cartere, and today is the 30th of January. It is a Monday, and you might have noticed that there was no Talk About It podcast episode last week. And yeah, I've got a big announcement to make. Mike is leaving the show. He let me know, what was it, on Thursday? We were talking. I think he was gonna come late, so I told him to stay home because I had streaming to do and whatnot. We weren't able to record the podcast on that day, and yeah, he let me know that he wasn't really feeling the podcast stuff. Basically, he felt like certain occasions he was forcing it, and I guess he don't want to continue, and I completely understand. I completely understand. On certain occasions, I felt like I was forcing the podcast episode. I think doing a weekly episodic podcast is a little hard. Certain weeks when there's not, subjects that you want to discuss. So I'm kind of at a quandary here. I don't know what I'm gonna do in the near future. I have a few plans. I may like there's a couple options. I either stop doing the podcast completely, we don't do it anymore, or I try to do it as a regular weekly thing and just talk about certain subjects and stuff like I do on my YouTube channel, or like I want to do on my YouTube channel, but I never get around to because I've got bare editing to do, and maybe put some gameplay footage over it in the future. I won't be doing that like right now because those types of videos take ages to export, and for the time being I just want to see if you guys want this sort of stuff, if I'm just going to do it solo. So I really need your comments and all that sort of stuff, to let me know whether you want me to continue it or whether we should just call it quits. So let me know in the comment section and whatnot. But yeah, there will be no more Mike on the podcast for the foreseeable future. He might come through for a guest spot here and there, but I guess this is a solo thing now. I might bring on other guests now and again, but I'm not really gonna focus on that because it's a bit long relying on other people. To be honest, if I'm being completely 100% honest, I don't really like relying on other people. I like doing shit myself. But the whole concept of doing a solo podcast is kind of lost on me because I haven't listened to any other solo podcast, so I don't know if this is a thing that people care about or that people want or anything like that. I have checked out Bill Burr's podcast, which was quite good, and yeah, that was well. I haven't actually watched. I mean, I haven't actually listened to a lot of full episodes of that. I just moved the mic back a little bit because it was way too close and it seemed like I was clipping at times. Hopefully, that doesn't, continue over the video. I've got to figure out this new mic that I'm using because I generally use my Rode NT1A for the podcast, but right about now I'm using my Blue Yeti mic because it's just easier to set up, much quicker. I can just dash in, dash out, make a quick podcast, and it'll make it much easier for me to just whip out my thoughts on certain things that are going on and whatnot. So yeah, I need you guys' comments to let me know if I should continue the podcast because it does cost me money to keep putting out the podcast. I mean, it costs me £8 a month, but that SoundCloud Pro subscription. If I'm not doing the podcast, I don't really need it. I don't really need it because I don't really have the time to be putting out music at the moment either. So I don't really need it. I don't know if I cancel it, all the podcasts will go away. So that's also something to keep in mind. Let me know in the comment section if you know what goes on with that. But I think that's enough announcements. I hope you guys, understand what's going on and whatnot. If you're super upset and you want Mike back on the show, then tweet him, let him know that you're super upset and you want him back on the show. Don't diss him and say, yo, you fuck you, bruv, be on the show. Just be like, yo, we really like you, being on the show and that sort of stuff. Maybe that'll persuade him to come back, but you never know. He's got a full-time job and whatnot, so it's a different situation from me as a YouTuber, getting to these podcasts and whatnot. And I guess the podcast probably was getting in the way of me and Mike just spending time together as friends because we didn't really have a lot of time because I stream on Thursdays too, so doing the podcast as well, it's just a lot of work. Maybe we could just chill now, but I did like to record our conversations, as they do seem to be very interesting, and I feel like people enjoy listening to them. But yeah, not to get too sad and stuff. Let's, I guess, move on to a couple subjects that I wanted to quickly touch on. Like, this isn't going to be an hour solo podcast or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about shit that's happened, that's on my mind, and then we're going to keep it moving, basically. So this might be 15 minutes, might be 30 minutes, might be 20 minutes, might be 5 minutes. You never know. And if this goes well, I guess I'll put out more of them. If it doesn't go well, I'll probably put out two more and then call it quits when it's just fucked up. Or maybe I won't even do that. We'll see. We'll see. But be sure to show your support if you like it. If you don't like it, be sure to leave a comment so I can know to stop. So I can know to stop wasting my time, and that, because that would be really really helpful. But first of all, I wanted to talk about the whole Trump stuff. Like, Trump has been no, yeah. Let's start with Trump. Let's start with Trump. We'll talk about the Migos album later because I like the Migos and that. But let's talk about Donald Trump, President Trump, Big Trump. They say Big Trump ain't from the hood. I disagree. I disagree. No, Trump has he's been doing a lot of things. He's done a few executive orders. I'm not abreast on the situations of all of them because I don't really care for American politics because they don't affect me in any way whatsoever. If I even lived in America, I bet they still wouldn't affect me any way whatsoever because broad politics generally don't really affect you that much. Like your state's politics really does. It depends on what's going on in your life and whatnot. But a few things that I wanted to talk about, a few big things, is the so-called Muslim ban that what people are calling it, with Trump basically banning. I think it's immigration, or he's banning refugees from certain countries, which he believes, or I don't know if he believes, which are suspected to have ties to terrorism, basically. So he's saying he doesn't want to let refugees from these countries come in because they may turn out to be terrorists and may turn out to do terrorist acts and bomb something or do some shit like that, which seems logical. It seems logical to me. I don't know why there's so much wild outrage about it. It's not, yo, I'm banning all Muslims from being in the country, which is what he said he was going to do, which also makes logical sense to me. Maybe it's not the best thing for someone to do, but it does make sense. Like, it's not like, oh my god, this makes no sense whatsoever. This is totally dumbfounded and totally unfounded, and just comes out of left field. Like, I understand why you do that because the large majority of the well, I don't even know if the large majority of the terrorist acts are Muslim based or whatever, but ISIS are, were they extremist Islamic extremists and whatnot. So, you thinking let's ban Muslims from coming in the country so that they don't bomb us makes sense on a logical thing. Maybe it's not right. I'm not saying it's right. I don't support Trump. I just want everyone to know I don't support Trump. I'm not, pro Trump or anything like that. I really don't give a shit, to be honest, because it doesn't affect me. As I said, I don't live in America. I live in the UK, so it really doesn't do much to me. But him banning Muslims from certain countries or banning refugees from certain countries, like, that seems like counter counter terrorist procedures to me. Maybe not the best, most efficient way, but it makes sense. But I've seen loads of uproar about it. People calling Trump a fascist and a racist and stuff like that. And you know, let me bring up the definition of fascist because I don't believe Trump really fits the bill at all. Like, here's the definition of fascism. Fascism, sorry, my bad. A political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition. Like, is that what you believe? Trump is doing because he's kicking press people out of his interviews. Like that doesn't seem like forcible suppression of opposition to me. Forcible suppression of opposition to me seems like, putting reporters in prison for speaking out against you, or putting people in prison for saying the wrong thing about you. Like Trump goes on Twitter and disses people who make jokes about him. That doesn't make him a fascist. That makes him, a guy with Twitter fingers. Like it's silly to me. And a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation, often race above the individual. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, Trump seems like he's talking about, let's make America great again and whatnot, and he wants America to be the top over everything, which I guess could be seen as exalting nation above the individual. And if you believe that, he's racist, and when he says America, he's actually talking about, the white people that settled America when they stole it from the Native Americans, then fair enough. You may even say that he's exalting race over the individual. But I don't believe that's the case. I believe it's just, patriotism and whatnot. Like, he could be undercover racist. He could just be out and about racist, but I haven't seen any proof to support that fact. It's all just, insinuation, or not insinuation. It's all just assumptions at the moment and whatnot. But definitely, he's not a dictatorial leader. Like, you lot, or the US guys nominated him and elected him. He didn't jump in, take over the thing, and be like, "Yo, this is mine." He got elected. Like, let's be real. He got elected by the people, saying that he was gonna do this shit, and then he got in the position, and he's signing executive orders within the fucking first 2 weeks to put the shit that he said he was gonna do into motion. And it's like, people are surprised. What? What the fuck? What? They're just. I think they're like, you know what? Politicians say things, and then when they get into office, they don't really do them. And that's what I believed. Politicians say things, they say they're going to do things in order to get certain people on their side, get the votes, and then when they get into office, they do, play by the rules, do what they need to do in order to stay in office. And it seems like, Trump is really sending he's setting, I don't know, he's sending a message to those who said, you're not really going to build the wall, and he might still not build the wall, to be honest. Like, he signed the order, I think, saying that, did he sign an order saying that he was going to build a wall? I don't know. He confirmed that he was going to build the wall, and I know something about, it was that Spicer guy said that he was going to tax Mexican imports in order to pay for the wall, and that's the way that they're going to do it. And if they do that, then he fulfilled on one of his promises. If they don't do it, then he's at least put enough effort into it that it seems like he tried to do it. And if he doesn't do it, he can blame it on bureaucracy and people stopping him from doing it. And him saying that he was going to ban Muslims before he got elected, and then actually implementing something that stops refugees from certain countries coming into America, like, he's doing what he said he was gonna do, and I think that you gotta rate him for that. If you, even if you hate his policies and you hate his guts and you think he's just doing loads of bullshit and he shouldn't be doing it, you gotta put some respect on his name for saying that he was gonna do some shit and do some shit. I didn't believe he was gonna follow through with any of these promises whatsoever, but it seems like he's kind of proved me wrong. And yeah, it's very interesting. It seems like a real life comedy to me. Like, life is a comedy at certain points, but it's just fucking wild what America's turned into. They elected Donald Trump as their president, and now I just see hate for Donald Trump all over the place. Maybe there is love for Donald Trump, but I'm not seeing it on my Twitter timeline or on my side of the internet, basically, because I don't know. I believe I follow mostly left leaning people and liberal people and people who are more open minded and accepting of shit, but it also seems like they get butthurt really quickly and whatnot, and just they're not open minded to conservative thoughts. They're not open minded to discussion. They just lash out at it and say it's terrible and everyone should be like us, which I believe is silly. I believe is really, really silly. Like, I believe in open mindedness and discussion and hearing what the other side has to say, even if you don't like what they have to say. As long as everyone's just discussing in a civilized manner, then everything's great to me. Even if we have different opinions, I love having different opinions because then we can share knowledge, we can expand our knowledge, and we can have better discussions, in my personal opinion. But some people, they just want to be around people who have the same exact opinion all the time. And I don't believe that's healthy. I believe that lulls you into a false sense of security. And then when you get out in the real world and you find people who don't agree with you, it's a culture shock. And you're like, wow, what the fuck is this? Why does this person not think like me? And then you start getting butthurt and whatnot. So I don't believe Trump is a fascist. I don't believe the policies that he has enacted is too wild. There was something about abortions or some sort of thing about that, and I don't know. As long as he hasn't made abortions illegal, which would be terrible. Oh no, something to the effects of, if like he'll take away funding from Planned Parent organizations or something, Planned Parent stuff. I don't know, I'm not too versed in the American sexual health um structure and whatnot, so I can't really speak on that. But I don't really believe in taking a choice away from a woman, or bullying them into a specific choice, or coercing them to have a child. I believe that's very silly. Just like I don't believe in people coercing men to have a child, which does happen, and women do it too, and it is terrible, to be honest. But it happens. It definitely happens by the government, because they try to force you to pay child support and whatnot. But I am going off topic here. But yeah, Trump's new policies, wild, hilarious, outrageous, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes in the coming weeks. Next topic I want to talk about is the Migos. Now, the Migos released their new album Culture. I think they released it on the 27th. I listened to it the day after it was released, and first of all, I just want to say I'm disappointed that they didn't put Cocoon or Say Some on the album. Those are two great singles which I believed would have been put on the album, and they could have been put on as a bonus track or something of the sort. I believe that they really missed something great there. Those were amazing songs, and I don't know why they left those off the album. In my own personal edits to the album, I have downloaded those singles and I've put them in the album as bonus tracks so I can, enhance my listening session. But overall on the album, the first time I heard it, I was like, you know what, there's some bangers here. Certain songs I'm not really, not really feeling, but this, it tends to happen when I listen to Migos albums. Like, I like certain songs, I don't like other songs, but generally, when Quavo's on it, he's doing his thing. But, over repeat listens, like, I think I've listened to the album fully through about at least three times. The first time was fully, like, from first song to last song. Second times was, well, second time, you can't have second times. Second time was on shuffle, and I think I probably listened to it some more on shuffle, and then I listened to it again fully through, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a really, really fun album. Obviously, it's not the best lyrical album if that's what you're trying to look for, but it's really, really fun. I think that Takeoff, Offset, and Quavo all do an amazing job. Obviously, Quavo does the best job, but I believe that Takeoff and Offset are really coming into their own, and I'm really enjoying them on tracks. Like beforehand, it was just like Quavo, and then I'll live with Offset and Takeoff. I can live with them. I'm not looking forward to hearing them, but they really had their moments on this album. They all shone. And yeah, I'm really happy for them. I hope this album does really, really well. And you should definitely go listen to it. And I think those are the topics, to be honest. I kind of wanted to talk about, my Arc gaming adventure so far. I do want to put more gaming stuff into the podcast, because I do want to talk about gaming and shit, because I do, that is a big part of my life, because I do run a YouTube channel where I do gaming and stuff. And certain times I don't really have a lot of time to make a video on certain gaming things, but yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna even be playing many games this year because I've been playing Ark so much, and I've been basing my channel around Ark, and it's so time consuming. You have to invest a lot of time into Ark. But I remember a few weeks ago I was talking about my adventures of starting a tribe of on Ark and whatnot, and it was going pretty well. I had, you know, over, let's say, over 20 members, and it was going pretty well. And recently a bunch of those members betrayed us and left and went to another Ark tribe called, let's not even put out the names. Let's not even put out the name of the tribe. But they betrayed us and joined that tribe, who was basically allied with the Alpha tribe on the server, who was a tyrannical force, which just they just went around and raided everyone. Like, they just took like little beginners who would start out in little thatch houses. Like, thatch houses are really easy to break. Like, you wouldn't find anything of use in there. If you're a big tribe, like, what are you gonna get? Wood and thatch. Like, it's not really fucking useful. But they'd go and they'd get rid of those thatch houses, and kill beginners, steal their stuff, just go around the map, just taking everyone's shit. And they're not really good guys. They're not really trustworthy. The way they got into the position that they got into was by joining the tribe that was Alpha before them. Like, one of their members joined the Alpha tribe from the inside and then turned off all the turrets, so they had no defenses, so that the rest of the tribe, of the opposition tribe, could come in and clean them out, which is, slimy. All's fair in love and war at the end of the day, but that sort of person you don't really want to be in an alliance with. So, the tribe members left, and they made a silly decision in my opinion. But yeah, that's just what happens in the land of Ark. Sometimes you get betrayed and whatnot. But at the end, it's just the game. It's just the game. I've been betrayed in real life, so I know the real risks of betrayal and whatnot. Like, being betrayed in a game ain't really too wild. And now I've got a smaller band of companions who I'm playing with, and we're having a bunch of fun. And it's a really enjoyable experience. We moved to another server, which is really, peaceful and nice, and some good people on there. And the alpha in this server are pretty good people as well. They're taking care of the server pretty well, and they're pretty nice people. There's no tyranny going on. There's, peace and prosperity going on amongst the land, and it's pretty interesting. I'm probably going to jump on Arc after I finish this podcast and export a few videos. But yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what other subjects you guys want me to discuss and whatnot. Also, as I said before, let me know if you guys want me to continue this podcast or just leave it out. And I will see you guys next time. Be sure to hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to comment and subscribe. And be sure to like, comment, repost, and follow us on SoundCloud. And also be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. And also follow me on Twitter at jcartere. And I'll see you guys in the next time, next week, if I do another one, to be honest. Peace out.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long. So all this warmth I share with you.